Hello, in this Chameleon demo we're going to do some stuff with OpenStack in the cloud. So assume you've already watched the first demo or are familiar with Chameleon. So we'll just jump right in with a quick start for OpenStack. Let's go up to the top here. First thing we're going to do is log in to the cloud. At the beginning you see these 4 slashes. That's a Chameleon comment. These are default values that if you need to you can modify them. Empty Chameleon comment down here towards the bottom shows that token is what's returned. In this demo we're going to, now that we've logged into the cloud, we'll get a list of all the users, so there'll be admin and other users. We're going to ask what the user wants to change the first username to, change that, and then change it back. And we're going to start by getting and listing the users so that you can see what users are already out there in this cloud instance. And we want to save the first user's name. If this gets in the way, you can hit escape as old name. And if at the end you want to get back to your list, control space, keep hitting control space till you see the chameleon again. That's what we want to do. Old name equals the first name, and now select first user. We want to select the first user. Ask new name to name variable. So we'll ask the user what the new name they want to replace the first name with. And now let's go ahead and update name of selected user, which is the first user, to name, which is the variable that we saved that name into. And now that we've changed the name, we'll get and list users again from the cloud. Let's pause because we're going to update the name. Of selected user to old name. So we want to change it back to the way it was before we started, and get and list users to show that it's changed back to how it was before. So now let's go ahead and run this. So here's our list of current users. We've got the admin user, and the first one happens to be Heat admin user. So now we'll give it a new name, and so the first name has been changed to what we entered. Now we'll press enter to continue, and it'll convert that or change that name back to what it was before. So it is now back to Heat admin user. So that is showing how to use Chameleon to log into the cloud to OpenStack, list the users, change the first one, and then change it back. And that's interacting with the cloud with OpenStack. Now let's show another demo, similar, but this time, okay, now that we have created a program with Chameleon that talks to the OpenStack database, or actually the OpenStack cloud, and updates the username. Now we want to create a similar program that will actually modify the internal MySQL database inside the cloud. So we'll say quick start for OpenStack and MySQL. So it'll show both the OpenStack and MySQL. we go to the top. We're going to open the cloud database this time. Instead of talking to the cloud, we're going to go right to the database. Again, we've got the default values that can be modified if needed, and the database instance is returned. I'll get and list users from the database this time instead of from the cloud. We'll save the first user's name as old name again. And select the first user. We'll ask new name to name variable. Then update name of selected user to name in the database. So notice that the steps are very similar. All we have to do in Chameleon is tell it that instead of talking to the cloud, now we're talking to the database. Get and list users from database. Pause again. Update name of selected user to old name in the database. From database, let's see, we do a get and list users from the database. Then we'll go ahead and run it. So we get the same list, but instead of, before we had asked the cloud through a REST call, what are the list of users? This time we're going right to the database and doing a SQL query for the list of users. New name, say John. And now we told the database update the first name with John, and from the database list the names again. And sure enough, it changed to John. Now when we press enter, it's going to change that to the old value and display the list again. So there it is. This is modifying or programming the cloud directly to the MySQL database.